I eat books for breakfast. And that is true about me. And I've been saying it for years. I eat books for breakfast. Now, I didn't make that up. I heard that years ago. Somehow, I can't even remember, but something triggered for me in that, because when I heard it, I was like, that's me. I eat books for breakfast. Here's what's true about me. I read every single day. A day in my life does not go past without me reading at least one chapter of the book I am reading, or more than one book. I have also been writing every day for years and years and years. I honestly believe I started my Dear Diary as soon as I could write my name. I have been reading and writing for as long as I can remember. I eat books for breakfast, and if you ask me, what do you want to do, Deb? I want to write books. And I've been saying that for years. But today, in our time together here in the Be Her podcast, I want to explore why the book is not enough. So welcome, my friends, to one of my favorite playgrounds, which is narrative, story, and in particular books. Today, I'm going to talk about two books in particular, The Secret and The Way of the Intuitive HERoine. Now, The Secret, maybe you know that book. Maybe you read that book like I did back in the day when that book had its heyday. And The Way of the Intuitive HERoine, you haven't read that book yet because it's the book I'm writing right now. And why do I know that the book is not enough? Okay, let's dive in. Let's go back in the day to when The Secret hit the bookshelf, when everyone was talking about the book, The Secret. Now, this would have been, I'm trying to add up the details because Sage was 4 when The Secret came out, and he was born in, it was 2006. Maybe I got that wrong. Forgive me, those who are following The Secret publication, or those publishers, or Rhonda, who wrote the book herself. Many blessings, because The Secret in 2006, if I got the date right, was like a breakthrough book. If you read the book, you know what I'm talking about. The Secret was talking about the secret behind manifestation, the law of attraction. And it got a lot of traction early on. There were a lot of people who read the book, a lot of people who suddenly felt like the secret they'd been looking for or trying to understand was now on pages in a book, and we could read it and it was real. So now The Secret and me. In 2006, when Sage was 4, I had left the long-term relationship with Sage's godfather / stepfather. We were together for the whole of Sage's life, really. And when Sage turned 4, on Sage's 4th birthday, actually, I knew it, as Sage was blowing up those birthday candles on his cake, and we're all there dressed in costume, and I'm still under the same roof in the partnership with the man who I call the Wizard. That's what he's called in my first book, A Series of Surrenders. And I just knew I need to leave this relationship. This is not the best vibration or the highest good for me or for Sage. And it's not like there was a lot wrong. It's just that it wasn't right. More of that, like digging into that relationship in particular, is in A Series of Surrenders. But where I want to go to now is that caused major chaos and questioning and doubt and so much for me when I did choose to leave that relationship. I spent, I think it was 3 going on 4 months under the roof of my mother again. Bless Barbara, who took me and Sage in again. It was the second time in Sage's life that we have come running to my mother's home, and she opened the doors lovingly. And I spent the first few months really confused. Did I make the right choice? I didn't know what was up or down or left or right. I was kind of lost. And then I found myself months later in remembering who the fuck I am. I had a well-established healing practice at the I Am Well shop. I had clients that were turning up that I was getting great results for. I had my intellect and whip smarts. I had my intuition. I had my gorgeous son. And I chose to begin again. I rented a house a walk away from the clinic that I worked at so that I could be able to access my work easily because I wanted to keep doing what I was good at. And I put, all of my smarts and abundance into the magic hat and was like, I'm going to pay rent on my own. I'm going to raise this boy on my own. And we ended up renting this house, which Sage and I called the Little Greenhouse because it was painted green. And it was actually half a house because it was a house that had been renovated to make more than one dwelling. So whoever owned the house could make double rent, I guess. But it was the rent I could afford in the neighborhood I needed. And I chose to bet on myself and keep moving forward. And I moved into the little greenhouse. And I remember the day of moving into the house, all of the boxes are still in all of the different rooms, but the removalists have left now and it's just me and Sage and I'm exhausted and I'm still questioning, have I done the right thing? Am I going to be able to pull this off? I was more full of doubt than hope. Like hope was kind of there as the cherry on top, but the cake was doubt. And that afternoon, I'm sitting in the back garden with all of these big questions and no answers. And Sage comes down the stairs and it's just on sunset. So I'm thinking I've got to pull myself together as a mother and get some dinner because this kid's going to be hungry. So I think Sage is coming down the stairs to let me know, hey, Mum, I'm hungry. And he comes up to me, places his hand on my shoulder, and then says, Mum, I'm proud of you. And then he turns around and walks back up the stairs. And I'm sitting in the garden and all of the doubt has left this moment because my son can see me. He sees what I am doing and have done for him and for me. And it kind of emboldened my spirit again. Like hope became the wave of possibility, not just that cherry on top. I mean, the amount of times Sage turned up in my world to let me know, hey, lady, you're going the right way. Keep going that way, even though it feels really fucking hard. Bless my son for the amount of times he rescued me while we were earthbound together in these little moments. Like, did he know that I really needed it? I'm guessing so because it brought him down the stairs. But did he know the impact that he had on me? I know he knows now in spirit. But it helped me to pull myself together and to bet on hope. And then in comes the book, The Secret. And at the time, I was like, this is perfectly placed. This is me building a new life for me and Sage. And The Secret is all about how we can have our positive thoughts, which generate the positive actions in our life, how our thoughts create our reality. It's the classic manifestation book. And it's full of stories of people who have been doing this and pulling it off. So you read the book and you get this new information. You learn about the power of our thoughts. And then you also get this testimony from people, how they had the vision board of that amazing home they wanted. And then they're writing the chapter of the book from that home. And I could go on. It's like a hope buffet. Like you're eating hope as you're devouring this book. And it makes you believe that it's so possible. Now, let me just say this. It is possible. It is possible that we can all create what we want. And yes, our thoughts have a lot to do with it, but it's not the complete picture. But this is where I want to go with what happened next. So I read the book, The Secret, and I was filled with this hope. So I start hoping. I'm telling other people, have you read the book? And they're like, oh my God, I have. Or, oh no, I heard about it, but I haven't yet. Like, there was a frenzy in Australia. I think it was around the world, but definitely in Australia for the book, The Secret. And then I started to take the steps beyond hope. And this is where the wheels began to fall off. Because the book had given me this idea, but it didn't give me every step in the landscape of what was going to happen next. And I found myself tumbling far from this amazing peak of it's all possible. I read the stories in the book. The guy got the house of his vision board. Somebody else created that $1 million business. This is possible for me. Because I'm still living the reality as a single mother who's got a broken heart, getting her kid off to the first day of school while also running a clinic. And that clinic, I need clients because that's how I pay rent, honey, on that little green house. So there's a level of stress, anxiety, bumping up against my reality. So when I start working with these positive thoughts and I don't get all of the amazing results like the others in the book, I start to question, is it me? And then this is the part that like broke the spine of the book for me. Months after Sage and I had moved into the little green house, we prepared for Christmas. It was time to put the Christmas tree up. People were getting together and celebrating. And one night we got home from a celebration party and I'd had a little bit of champagne. Sage was tired because we got home late. We came through the back door. I put my red handbag, my red handbag that I really, really loved, gifted to me by my friend Marty. Loved that handbag. Put it on the bench right beside the kitchen door. We went into my bedroom. We both passed out in the double bed together. I woke up the next morning and the red handbag is gone. At first, I'm like, what's actually happening here? Like, I didn't have a lot of champagne. And I'm pretty sure I put the handbag right there by the door. So where is it? And then it dawns on me, in that kind of like hazy, the picture starts to come real. I was like, hold on a minute. The window next to the back door is open and the bag is gone. I think someone's opened that window, unlocked my door, come in while Sage and I are sleeping and stolen my bag just before Christmas. How rude. So I call the police and then the police are like, yeah, we're in your neighborhood. It's happened to everyone on your street. And I learned later that day, as the police come and ask me the questions, et cetera, that I was living at the time, the little greenhouse was parallel to a train line. And so what the gang of whoever they were doing is they were jumping off the train at certain points on the train line and then dispersing across houses, getting whatever they could, not taking big things like TVs or computers, more like taking the cash, the phones, the watches, taking what they could easily liquidate into money, or literally your money, like was in my red bag, and then obviously going back to the train line and jumping on the train again, because I wasn't the only one who had been burgled that night. And so that made sense. It was also very disturbing that while Sage and I were sleeping, someone had been in our house. But this is the bit that broke the spine of the book. There was a new woman who I had met, and she was a healing practitioner like me. And because we were new to each other, we decided to swap services to get to know what the other did and how it worked, and maybe we were going to collaborate. So I call her and say, I don't think we should meet today because I've had a disturbing morning. And I tell her the story of being burgled and my red bag is gone. And her response, as someone who had read The Secret and taken every single word as gospel truth, her response to me was, well, you know that you made that happen. Excuse me? I mean, I asked for clarification. And she said, well, your thoughts create your reality. So you must have had some negative thoughts that meant that you were going to get robbed, like that, you had negative thoughts about your safety or your security or your abundance. Like you created that. And she was speaking to me like she was this expert telling me the thing I didn't know. I hung up the phone and I was really clear. I was like, I don't think you're the healer for me, and we will definitely not be collaborating. But it took me a while to break down this breaking of the spine of the book, because she was not the only one who was now in this belief that my thoughts create my reality. So if I have a bad thought or if a bad thing happens, it happened back in the day. I think it's still happening today to a lot of people who are in manifestation circles. And to me, I was like, that's complicated. And I don't think I can get jiggy with that, because I don't believe that I, with just my thoughts, created that reality. Because did I create the reality that that gang would choose that part of the train line to get off that particular night? Did all of my neighbors have the same thoughts about our security and abundance so close to Christmas? Did we all collectively create that reality? And that's where I put my hands up and I put the book away. Now, I'm not saying this book is wrong. Please be clear on that. I'm not saying this book is wrong. What is shared as learning inside the book, it is theory of manifestation. It is theory. But the reason I say the book is not enough is because of everything that happened to me, and I think others. I'm going to say I think, because I remember having conversations at the time, but I don't remember all of those stories. But I know that this happens. I mean, put your hand up, even though we can't see it, but just like, let's play along. Put your hand up if you ever read a self-help or a healing book, and at the time of reading it, you were like, oh my God, this is what I needed. This is the answer. And then within a month or 3 months, either not a lot has changed, or the wheels have fallen off, or you are feeling worse about yourself than you did before reading the book. Yep, there you go. I said it. That's what I think is the misfire in the realm of books that are geared towards, like, the destination is this book is going to help you. Now, a book can only do so much. Like, the book can give you the theory. The book can give you stories of other people, like case study stories, testimonial stories. It can even give you some how-tos. But the book is not enough, because it's not the book that changes your life. It's what you do because you read the book that changes your life. I think what's been happening, particularly in the last 25 plus years in the spiritual development, self-help industry, is there's a lot of theory and how to and get your best life this way in a lot of books. And I think these books are amazing. Maybe not all of them, I will say. But there are some books out there that are really amazing. They're game changer in that they can change the way you think or feel about something, but the book is not enough, because the book is the part that you consume. It's not the part where you do the damn thing. Through reality, through real time, this is what's going on down here on the ground. Which is why, for The Way of the Intuitive Heroine, the book that I'm currently working on, I have decided it's more than a book. And let me tell you about that. So I've spoken about this before. The Be Her Journey, the group program that I have been running in 2026, 2 cohorts full, amazing, dynamic journey. Every single week of the 12 weeks is a chapter in the book. So I'm getting lived experience, like watching case study stories come to life through the Zoom or our Telegram between sessions. It's amazing. And I still have this question. How can I write a book that is more than the book if I know the book is not enough? How can I face clearly the reality I see that a self-help or personal or spiritual development book can potentially do more harm than good if it doesn't share the embodiment, the reality? These are serious questions that I ask, because I was like, I eat books for breakfast. Ask me, what do I want to do? I want to write books. And I know it to be true. If I really want to help women to become the intuitive heroine, to feel and live as her, not the idea of her, not the elitist, some get this result, not everyone gets this result. Like, how do I solve this? Well, let me tell you. This is what's going down in The Way of the Intuitive Heroine, and I invite you into this journey with me. It's collaborative because, yes, I want to write books and I will spend my life writing books, but I want to write books that actually change women's lives. So let me lay it down for you. The Be Her Journey is the first layer of research. In the first layer of research, I have all of the women from cohort 1 and 2 who have given me permission to be inside their stories, to be inside what happened or didn't happen for them in the journey, which gives me this lived experience in the journey. But when we think about actually changing a woman's life, we need to think long term. So now I am engaged in a long-term case study. So 3 women from cohort 1 and 3 women from cohort 2, so 6 women. It may be 7, because there was a 7th woman who put up her hand and I was like, how could I say no? So let's just call it 7. In this moment, I'm saying yes. So there's 7 women who have committed to working with me for the 9 months following their journey. So 3 months after they finish the Be Her Journey, they will fill out a whole survey, which digging in questions with like, and what happened next? They will also meet with me individually for 30 minutes so I can really get curious about their answers. And then we do it again at 6 months, and then we do it again at 9 months, because I want to know what I share in the Be Her Journey, which is essentially the stepping stones and the chapters of The Way of the Intuitive Heroine. What I share, does it actually change your life? A year later, are you living differently? Because the thing I've been really clear about is it's not a learning journey, it's a living journey. And I've been really clear with the women that the 12 weeks is not enough. The 12 weeks is the beginning. It's the launch pad. All of the tools and the resources that I share in the journey, I've been very clear about the fact you're going to have to keep turning up for the reps, keep turning up for the nervous system expansion, keep turning up for the scary moments. because they're all a part of transformation. And we need to move through all of them before we are actually anchored in a new identity. And when we're anchored in a new identity, then we are living a new life and a new reality. On the way there, let's be clear, we are on the way there. You get gifts and goodness along the way, but it takes time for real transformation. I spoke about that last week. I'm standing by this. You cannot change your life by reading one book. You cannot change your life by deciding that you're going to do one practice or 130 days something, or even a 3-month program with me. It's what happens after. It's how you make it a part of your life. So for the way of the Intuitive HERoine, I'm going in for the research and the study. What happens for these women 3 months later, 6 months later, 9 months later? I cannot wait to dig into this data because, you know me as I love playing in the magic, but the other thing I love playing in is like science and facts and data. Like I love neuroscience for that because it's backing up a whole heap of what sages and mystics have been saying for a long time around our energetic reality. They're now able to measure that in the brain. I love it. I really love this mix of science and spirituality. And this to me is like a science experiment of what is the actual change that happens and is sustained. Because once I have all of this information, it gives me all this information about how to write the book and the journal guidebook and the oracle card deck. Did you hear those elongated ands? Because the book is not enough. So if I know that to be a truth, my answer is I'm going to write a book with amazing case studies and some of my personal stories. And it's also going to come with a journal workbook. So you have all of the resources that you can actually do beyond reading the book, which is the part that makes the change. Learning doesn't change anything. Learning is the first step of transformation. It's what you do with the learning that makes a change. So we've got the book, then we've got the journal and the guidebook, and we have the oracle card deck, the way of the Intuitive HERoine, where all of the steps and the lessons and the realities are going to be reflected in oracle cards. So as an Intuitive HERoine, you can shuffle those cards and ask, where am I at on my journey right now? Or what do I need to see that I can't see? So this is my answer to the book is not enough. The book, the journal, the cards, and let's see, is that enough? I don't know yet, but I am a woman who wants to answer the question, how do I really, really change women's lives? Not in the moment they're reading the book, not in the good vibes they get inside a cohort that's really engaged and dynamic, not in a moon circle. All of that is a part of the experience for the woman. But I am here to answer the question, what actually supports a woman to shift in identity, to transform into her highest vibration, and then stay there and expand further from there. So I am on the mission now, my friends, which means you're going to hear me talking about the longitude study, the journal, the writing of the book, and the first thing to be created in this project, the oracle card deck. My sister Elizabeth, who is an amazing artist, is going to work with me on creating the original art for the way of the HERoine oracle card deck. So before you get your hands on the book, you're going to be able to shuffle some cards. So that's coming because I believe if we've got the card magical resource, the journal book, the actual book with the case studies in it, we're getting somewhere. I have a feeling that there's other elements that we're going to be shown in our journey together of how do we actually change our lives if we know that the book is not enough. Wow. Now, here is some really exciting news. Over the next 3 episodes, you will be meeting 3 of the women from cohort 1 of the Be Her journey. And you are going to hear what changed for them. You're going to hear their stories of who they are and who they have chosen to be now on the other side of the journey. And I'm not saying it's the journey alone that did this for the women, but it was a big part. After I finished cohort 1, I was clear that I wanted to capture some of these stories. And so I invited the whole cohort to the Be Her podcast, and 3 of those women will be featured over the next 3 episodes. So look out for Holly Corbett, Sonia Costello, and Holly Gooden. 3 amazing intuitive heroines sharing their stories about their journey to their own lived, embodied experience as the intuitive heroine. Coming up next week and the week to follow and the week after that, we get to now dive into the real stories from women who, like you, you're ready. You are ready for not only the next step, but the next leap. We are the women of the new era. We're the intuitive heroines, and we know that together we are going to change the world, because you change a woman's story, you change the world. So now I have a fun request to complete this episode. If there is a book that has changed your life, let me know. Reach out to me on Substack at the Be Her Collective. It's my, that's my, what do you call it, the app bit. You can also find me, Deb D, the Intuitive Heroine. Or you can email me, debd at thebehercollective.com. What was the book that changed your life? Or what was the book that even messed you up a bit with, like, told you that this was possible and then it didn't come true? Or what's just your favorite book? Because you're talking to a woman who eats books for breakfast. And I'll complete by telling you my favorite book that I've read so many times in my lifetime, and I will read again. My favorite book is The Mists of Avalon by Marion Zimmer Bradley. It's the story of the King Arthur times, but not told through the eyes of the men. It's told through the eyes of the women. King Arthur's mother, sister, aunt, and wife. And it is a dynamic, amazing book that I've returned to at least 7 times, and I'm not done yet. So if you haven't read The Mists of Avalon, please do. My high recommendation, and I want to hear from you. What is a book that changed your life, messed you up a little bit, or a book that you recommend that I should read, that I should eat for breakfast? All right, my friends, we are more than books. We are full, embodied, amazing women, and we're here to do the damn thing. We are the women of the new era. We are intuitive heroines. We are the women of the gentle revolution. And next week and the week after and the week after that, you are going to hear from 3 of the amazing intuitive heroines who are with us in the gentle revolution. But for now, maybe go and read a book. That's what I'm probably going to do. All right. Big love, everyone.